Y'all done a lot.
Oh, yeah.
But it was sort of
That'd
a.
be good for everybody.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
I found.
But it did have a nice back.
Oh, it's, I mean, that's what it says.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Y'all
nice.
y'all done a lot.
Oh, yeah.
But it was sort of
That'd
a,
be good for everybody.
replace the bridge, I saw that.
That's, yeah.
It's always exciting.
Depends on which clock you use. Remember that one? Good one, if you want to start that one.
5:29. Need a calibrated clock. Mm,
You got 5:30.
going to that one.
Yes.
Not much.
5:30. They were close.
Take it one.
They were within seconds.
All right, I'd like to welcome everybody to the April meeting of Calvert City Council. Yeah, I forgot these things on. And I'm gonna ask Linda to lead us in the pledge. There we go.
This is the play that.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Got quite the crowd tonight. I wonder why. Okay, well, first off, let me open up by saying that, we had, our community got threatened by a pretty massive flood that hit the region. The forecast realized pretty well. And when Draffenville and Benton set records, we find out what Little Cypress Creek will do. So it's interesting. Calvert City, I don't know what our official rainfall was, but our detention basin did its job once again and really alleviated the localized flooding inside. I think on Saturday, by my calculations or observations, Little Cypress Creek rose about between 6 and 9 inches out near Love's Truck Stop between, say, 7:30 and about 2 o'clock. That dude came up pretty quick. And so it was interesting driving around and seeing portions of the city really high and other portions doing pretty well. And so we've shifted into the river flooding, which thankfully the crest wasn't as severe as they had originally said. So I want to say thank you and realize a lot of work from city employees, cleaning out storm drains, getting ready beforehand, making sure everything is as well planned as we can. Built the berm around the water plant in preparation for a high river crest that was predicted, and it didn't get wet, and it's not predicted to get wet. So that's good news. Better safe than sorry. I want to say thank you to the sandbags or volunteers for Calvert City. And thank you to the county, which they made bags available to Calvert City. That's the very good news. And so we were able to get our quota met pretty readily. And I know the utilities department had a lot of extra work to do with sewer stations and taking care of business all the way around too. And I want to recognize those employees as well. So thank you for all that. So we're going to get to the crux of the reason we have a couple of pretty big attended events in here this evening. So the first of which is Captain Babcock. We got some police business. I think we've got all the police here except for the chief, who I don't know about him not canceling his vacation for this, but maybe we'll give him a bye. So you want to take us away, Wes? Yep, you gotta use mic. The video doesn't turn out very well if we don't, so.
It's already gone to red.
Is it ready?
Now, we told you, you turn yours that way, though. Thank you.
Is it okay if I read it over here? So everyone can hear it?
Yep.
All right. Tonight's meeting, it's our honor to present Officer William Keith Suits for promotion. Officer Suits began his law enforcement career in October 2006 at the West Kentucky Correctional Complex as a correctional officer. During his 7 years there, he demonstrated initiative, leadership. He became a canine officer, a CERT team member, and eventually promoted to the rank of sergeant. In 2013, Officer Suits continued his service to the community by joining the Princeton Police Department after completing the basic training at VOCJT, and over the past decade, He has served with integrity, dedication, and professionalism, earning real-world experience and respect of his peers. In October 2023, Officer Suits applied for Calvert City Police Department. After successfully completing the thorough background check and interview process, he was officially sworn in by Mayor Gene Colburn on October 23rd, 2023. Since joining our department, Officer Suits has proven himself to be dependable, reliable, honest, and hardworking. Primarily serving on night shift, he has maintained a strong, proactive presence, providing reassurance to our community and that Calvert City is in good hands during the quiet hours. The selection process for the vacant sergeant position was rigorous and included a standardized first line supervisor written test and interview panel that all performance evaluations conducted by the chief of police and the captain. So it is with great pleasure that we, the Calvert City Police Department, with the approval of Mayor Gene Colburn, officially announce the promotion of William Keith Suits to the rank of sergeant. Congratulations. Thank you. All right, now we're.
Oh, wow. How much did that cost? That's amazing.
So at this time,
That's awesome.
I think he's gonna have his family attendance.
Turn in this way.
Let me get, I'll send it to you. How about that? Right across the street.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
All right. Good job. Good job. All right.
Oh.
Well, Sergeant, you got about 2 pages of remarks you'd like to make at this occasion.
Remarks, I'm not much of a speaker, Mayor. I appreciate everybody showing up, especially everybody from the PD and supporting me and showing their support and love, of course. And it's an honor for sure.
I really love seeing it. I love the family support and all the PD showing up. So we had a really tough decision to make, and we decided that cake is in order now because every meeting, it's not the reason we came, Sergeant. We wanted to celebrate you, but cake in a meeting is good too. So at this time, let's take just a short intercession, maybe 7 minutes or so. And folks who want some cake, let's get that moving, I guess.
Lead the way.
Somebody leave it. Yeah. Sergeant's got to lead the parade.
You gotta cut it.
Come on.
Come on, people, don't be shy.
We got some napkins.
I was gonna let the guests go first.
I'm trying to get the guests moving.
I didn't know what she was gonna have. So I didn't do any drinks or anything.
It is about a week early for me.
Wow.
This is the addition.
My brain is not
Didn't see you.
Yeah, yes, Monday and Tuesday.
Okay, but let's. You all have.
You have been.
Linda doesn't do that, so she shouldn't get case.
I'm on that new cholesterol medicine.
Well, then, I mean, you can't.
That's
That's
why
you didn't take it.
why you can have it. Why you can have it.
Yes, I use that excuse too. I'm not gonna, okay, so I won't have it. I didn't know it.
Hey, Lisa, you don't have to be able to wait to get the cholesterol issues.
Do what?
You don't have to be able to wait for cholesterol issues.
I've had them for 40 years.
You get cholesterol too?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They call it practicing medicine. Those doctors don't really know.
Tried this round, I tried this round, never used to be sky high, they're good.
Are they?
They're skinny people.
It's got that whipped icing.
Hey, he ain't, he doesn't bother me.
Yeah, I need to get some of that.
It's an age thing too. Okay, yeah.
It's got mint icing.
I keep saying that, looking for.
Is that what you said?
You just gotta throw down a few.
I'm sorry.
It's like the real light whip.
It's whipped.
You gotta
Yeah, it was.
just throw down a few extra miles. And it'll be fine.
Yeah. I'll probably go play pickleball after this. Figure it out.
40 years ago.
I doubt that.
I was gonna say.
Just don't hold your breath. Eat another person.
Makes no sense.
Not the big under.
It is what it is.
Tonight, they're playing from 5:30 to probably like.
After this meeting,
You also rise a little bicycle.
No, they got a lot of different bicycles.
Oh, well, okay.
Just different groups.
They play until pretty late.
Play later.
What time they play till usually? About 9?
Tonight, probably 8:30 or something. 5:30.
How's Kate?
Good.
And he's actually signed into term.
Oh, yeah.
Playing with Paul. We'll see how that went.
Play with who?
Wait a minute, this is Liz.
You know,
I know.
Are you
So I had surgery, like I had to kind of back down after.
Give up.
His Really, you just don't give up and then really like, let's get everything done.
Somehow Joan thinks
Focusing on being. She's focusing on being a. You should focus on doing something instead of giving something else.
That's exactly right. I've been doing it wrong for years.
I gave up roasting when I was long. That's green meat, I gave it. I told my kids don't never have.
They're scarred.
There ain't no sitting at the dinner table having eat this stuff. That's nasty.
Oh.
I agree with you.
So that overlay is at what, 336?
Yeah, that's 336. We're not gonna come in. We're gonna be at best a foot and a half below that. So you won't even see it to speak of. It won't be close to that. The light areas you see on the map, that's the water inundation if it goes to 336. It is not gonna get there. That's a foot and a half higher than it's supposed to get on the Tennessee River.
Okay.
We went ahead and did that just to be on the safe side. Because it's actually dropped. The
Balls and all that.
predictions went down a foot from what they were originally.
I guess it got high.
The Duke actually went down.
Yeah, I had no idea. I mean, they have pretty high banks. They have pretty high banks there.
EA Westlake. Does it get?
Does anyone?
Okay. Now we're gonna get back to some normal business here. And the council had a packet mailed out to them. So I would appreciate an approval of the March 10th regular meeting minutes.
So moved.
Got a motion to adopt? Second. All approve? Aye. Oppose? Okay. The same for the April 1st special call meeting.
Second.
Got a second? All in favor? All right, thank you for that. I don't see any new visitors or petitioners other than the CADA meeting. I believe that would be right. Okay, so nobody be recognized there. We've got a presentation from CADA on the Calvert Bank building. I say let's get into that first, and then we'll get back to some old business from there. So, who is our presenter? Wendy.
Don't I know?
Hello, I'm Wendy Elrod, representing CADA, Calvert Area Development Association. I'm the treasurer, official as an officer. I'm also on the committee that we have formed for revitalization of Old Calvert City. And I think you all have in front of you the little packet, little presentation we have. Going to keep it very brief. I know you've got a lot to do tonight. So thank you for your time, and I'll just go through the facts briefly. That we had formed a committee to discuss the bank building. As you all know, there is some history where CADA did have a lease in 2019 that has since expired. But our interest in the building still exists, and we're taking that a little step further with our committee to talk about plans for restoration. And so we've had, I believe, 3 meetings so far. We've reached out to the community to involve anyone who is interested or has interest in the process. And so we've had some good brainstorming sessions. And the primary focus is going to be the restoration for the purpose of CADA's mission, ideally, which is to promote education, historical preservation, and community enrichment. And in that, we're talking about the arts and culture and just community gathering space. So there is more detail inside the brochure that you can look over and consider. But I guess what we're asking for is the council's support in this effort. Our call to action is to invite Chris Black from Ray Black and Sons, who specializes in historic preservation construction, to ask Chris to come in and give us a preliminary assessment. We also have been in touch with the Kentucky Heritage Council, and we're working on scheduling a site visit with several dates that hopefully we could coordinate with you all on the first week of June. Then we'd like to begin a drafting of a phased renovation plan for presentation at the June council meeting. And then we also want to connect with Hazard County, and Hazard County is an in the works example of what can be done, because they have done it. And we have a young Murray State student affiliated with from Calvert City originally, who is now out of Calvert City, but is interested in working with us, as he did with Hazard County, to help us get to fulfill our vision. So we would like to ask for the council's support on this, maybe consideration on, as you go into budget workshop, or if historic preservation could be a line item, and then consideration on restoring that lease, I guess, for CADA's use of the upper level meeting space that is in a working area.
Okay, so the lease was 2019,
It was, and then, so of course we got into COVID,
right?
and
Right,
it just
like so many things.
the activities of our, CADA's focus was not to involve the council in bank restoration during COVID, for sure.
Do you have an amount that you think you might need in the budget to start off with?
We really don't have that assessment from Black and Sons.
There'll be some fees from them, though,
There'll be
right?
fees from them. You all were familiar with engineering startups, of course, and we know it'll take a little bit in the startup just to get those meetings going. But we've had some very generous people volunteering their time too, and so that's what I'm going to ask of Chris Black on his initial preliminary assessment.
Okay,
And you're interested in making this possibly a whole
historic district, like neighborhood area, correct?
Yes, historic district, we actually, in incorporating Railroad Avenue, as you see on the green shaded area there. That whole area, and we, in our committee meetings, we've invited the folks that are in that area, First Baptist Church, WCCK, the Heralds. The Heralds building is pretty much attached to the bank building. And they've got some goals and wishes that they want to do as well. With improving that property. But they're also, they are interested in preserving the historic value of the whole area too.
What is the GHD building?
They're an industrial service contractor.
Okay.
They're in, you may know it as the Johnson
Okay,
Plumbing.
and I was just, this looks great, but I was also gonna think about Larry Witt's house.
Yeah, they're across the street from the old City Hall Fire
I was
Department
just gonna
building.
say, as far as the historic district, Larry Witt's house used to be Dr. Coburn's office in the fifties and stuff. I mean, that was for all of us, that was pretty, it's as historic as the funeral home. Yeah.
Okay,
But just thinking that would, and the old Church of Christ building that he uses too.
Right.
So you got, I mean, there's a lot in there that needs, yeah.
so has anybody talked to Mr. Black yet?
No, not yet.
Okay,
Personally, I tried again today to talk to him and he was in meetings today. He was in town. So
so they got involved in a lot of downtown Paducah work, correct, and have that expertise?
yes.
Okay,
And I did work with him on a project, a computer source renovation, a historic preservation with him, so feel like I'll get a call back, pretty soon.
okay, well, when that occurs, keep us involved. And of course, we'll make provisions. Of course, I'm sure you got keys and everything too. But as far as, what they need to get started on incidental reviews or anything like that, expenses, I don't know exactly where we are on budget items. But maybe there's some ways that we can, do some of that preliminary work on the building that we own. Okay, so keep John involved and see if we can line up some calendars on that visit.
And I think you have the council's support. I mean,
Mayor, this Black's firm, Ray Black and Son, his son, did the Whitehaven project back in 1982.
Okay,
They've been involved in all.
got a lot of stuff. Yeah, a lot of
And
experience.
that was, I've toured that place before any work was done on it and wrote about it. And it's.
They can bring that place back, they can bring anything back.
Yeah, I've seen some stuff on that. That was pretty.
who would
great.
be in charge of the lease? Do you need to do that? Or-
Well, we'd have to do that. If we're gonna lease a building, I think it's a council item. So we would draw up a proposed lease and then we would, I think we approve it through council. We'll have to double check.
Or the
if the
one
other
we
one-
had, could we just not renew that or?
Well, yeah, we should be able to, that'd be a good starting point and see if that's the place to go. So-
What year did the city buy the building with the 15,000 from CADA and was it 3 years
It's
ago?
probably their 2018,
Was it
because
that
the
long
lease was
ago?
2019.
Yeah, it's been a while.
One of the things that I was surprised about, because I wasn't on the council when that happened, was the fact that the building itself cost 20,000, so CADA is a big stakeholder with
Yeah.
15,000 in that, so. Yeah,
Well, this is, we're all getting a little older. And, and we realize that some of these buildings probably won't have the same significance to people who are younger than us. But if we put this together as something to, to help the entire community, that's where, to me, that's the greater value. He said, that it opens up possibilities for grants and restrictions on some types of regulations, then probably not restrictions on the request.
And we feel like the 150-year committee did a knockout of the park job on historic information. And so to bring a cultural place to display that and have artistic avenues of showcase pop-up artists and galleries and cultural appreciation for the arts would be one thing Calvert City could put on its growing resume.
I do want to ask about your student, without getting too personal with names, or what's a major? What's their interest in profession or
He's an architect.
architect? Okay.
Oh, you're done?
Okay, I didn't. I know.
Dalton Schuker.
Schuker. Okay, so it's an architectural is what I was looking for. Okay.
See, there's an answer to that in both of them. Yes.
Okay, so an architectural student, all right. Still a student?
He's
He's working right now.
He's working? Okay, all right,
And then didn't you say he worked on the project?
Has an account.
He worked on.
right.
See, Solomon, I guess they were, no, the other.
Thank you all, Wendy, for all the work. I know, and everybody that did work on this. I know it's a lot of work.
It's a great committee.
It's a good
Very passionate.
Certifications here.
Yeah, it's a lot of good information, good start.
Okay.
I do know that
This is what we want.
they do this. Shipper.
Thank you. Thank you.
They need to really consider that.
No, we have to get that. So, one of the things about declaring something a historic district, I don't know a lot about that, as far as statutes go, et cetera. So that, we have to give, that'd be on the council to look at that and decide what that means legally to the properties there. There's a bit to unpack with that. I'm not sure about a lot of details. I'm just plain ignorant on that, but always looking to learn some stuff. So we can see if there's something that fits with what we're trying to accomplish here.
On the persons that we have indicated they will come down and do a good explanation about what qualifies for the National Register of Historic Places and historic districts. And
I think that'd be worthwhile.
certainly the bank building in particular, how much of the work that went on to locate the dam, its Gilbertsville location, and then recruit the industrial complex took place in that facility. And needless to say, look at the monumental impact it's had on this entire region.
Okay.
And we think that just in itself justifies the preservation of that building.
So, it's important to have community stakeholders, and we certainly have some, and show up in support, and we'll see where this moves. And so we've got a couple of actionable items is to get a review from the knowledgeable people and take a look at renewal of a lease and see where we want to go and how the council can support it tangibly.
Mayor, I did contact Steve Harrington, and his home being one of the oldest in the city, probably the oldest perhaps.
Right.
And he seemed interested.
Steve, what's the date to? What does it date to your home, Steve? 1895.
That's a day or two old.
That's a day or two old.
And they have restored it beautifully.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
And by the way.
And on the
thank you
inside.
for what you've done.
Okay. Anybody else have a comment to follow up on here? And if not, we'll move on down to normal council business, I suppose. All right.
Very good. Thanks, guys.
So concerning old business, the old business is we've got to set up, well, I guess that's new business. We got to set up a workshop for budgetary reasons, and that's under new. Old business to discuss. We did send around the ordinance for city attorney. Okay. And it's got some age on it, and we need to bring that up to date. And I propose that we work on that. I haven't really been able to talk to Greg or Ashley about how it can be modernized and things that we need to do statutorily. But what was the date on that one?
1990.
90? It's been a few minutes since 1990.
Well, you need to take out he and everything.
I was gonna say.
Well, all that stuff. We don't have a budget committee anymore, and there's a lot of differences there. So I don't think we have to reinvent the wheel. I think we can do a little bit of looking around and get some guidance and make sure it's modernized, and then bring it out and see how we want to tweak it to meet our specific needs.
Well, there's also, I think we could at least explore the idea that whether or not we want to have a person or a farm.
we're required to have a person, as I understand it. And so, I think you're talking about billing.
Mhm.
Okay, we can do it either way. I mean, it can be done any number of ways. And so we can talk about, what the
mean, you can-
preferences are and do that.
Yeah, it can be done by contract, and when I mean contract, I'm not talking about limiting the number of hours or anything like that.
Mhm.
But
Well, I mean, the ordinance as it was written, and most ordinances that you have are trying to laser focus on what issues might have been or correct something. It appeared to me that we were looking at the time, we weren't there, they were there, trying to figure out how they were going to allow a budgetary amount for a fee, for a expected fee, and still accommodate extra hours. It looked to be that was how I interpret it. So we can look at that. And there's other concerns about how the pay is, whether it's a part-time employee or whether it's firm, and we can set our stride any way we want to. Okay, moving forward. So let's look at the modernization of it and see where we might be deficient from a statutorial need, and get educated on that, and probably work on identifying some things. So if there's particular, I don't know I've never really drafted an ordinance other than things that we were doing specifically that really originated in the city attorney's office and brought forth. So that's my approach this time. So
Well, one
go
of the-
through, see where we're statutorily deficient, bring that forward, and then we'll get through and see what is on everybody's mind and fix it.
council members can also create an ordinance,
Right.
and they have help at the League of Cities that will help us with that as well. They have, I think that's something that most of us probably didn't know until we went to that workshop.
Yeah.
But
That's why I'm saying it won't have to be reworked totally. I mean, there's a lot of cities in Kentucky that have, all of them have that ordinance. So we can take what wins and what doesn't.
JLC will usually put out a model ordinance, but it's generally a skeletal frame that you go back and modify it to your community.
Which is where we'll start. So when we go to Greg or Ashley, they will go that model ordinance, get that out there, and that's where this is going to start. They rely on KLC too. They'll call them and have a quick chat and probably get it pretty quick. So this will be, other than stuff that we do just for a specific need, this is the first one that I've been involved with a true from scratch one that's got that much age on it. So.
well, to me, you need to look at one thing there, that if you have I understand that Greg is the city attorney right now, but if he's drafting the ordinance and we're wanting to change it, there might be some kind of conflict of interest.
And we'll take care of it in a meeting. Absolutely.
So you're gonna get all that together, we'll work
Yeah.
on getting that together and then discuss it in future meeting.
And, we may be able to distribute something even as early as budget workshop. Okay, those are special call. We'll have to say that it's going to be distributed or whatever.
Do we think there's other ordinances that are?
Oh, sure, yes.
That need to be.
Yep.
updated?
Oh, my
That
God.
Made me think.
Yes.
We got ordinances that go further back, way farther back than that.
Yeah. We got the whole body.
Some of them you have to dig up with like a brush and a little trial to get to them. They're that old.
Well, there's some ordinances that have been identified and actually I think discussed in here about having some age. And so we'll drag the list out and see what the council wants to do as far as plowing to them. But first things first, we'll get the budget. Okay. Other old business?
Oh, you want to set that now?
Well, we're gonna see if there's any other old business that we need to
Okay.
discuss. Okay, well, I did. Y'all want to try to set up a date for the budget meeting now? Sure. Everybody's got your calendars? So we're gonna distribute the draft budget tonight. We're not gonna have any conversation on it, but we need to set up a workshop pretty quick with the goal of having first reading at the next council meeting.
Didn't we talk about the 17th at one time? Of course, that's Easter week too. I don't think we thought about that. Yep, but we did talk about that, didn't we, at one time? We talked about some dates, but
You remember talking about that?
Those were made.
That whole thing.
It was May.
We
you're
did.
right.
It was
May,
May and we've
May.
actually moved it, we've been able to move it forward.
That whole thing where you could pick multiple and the most one was
Okay,
the best thing.
you can help
Because
us.
we'd like to have.
What's the name of it, Blair? Doodle. You want to doodle? Everybody good with doodling?
I could say yes tonight, but I'm not the boss of the schedule.
We said a doodle meet and determine one that way.
Just let us
I might
know.
recommend Tuesdays or Thursdays.
Yeah. Stay away
They
from,
seem to be easier for people to get to. Mondays are always gonna be covered up with something. And I think we've got this Thursday, we've got a
I have water and.
water or utility board meeting.
so Thursday we got utility board, Tuesday, I'm tied up with the cat team's gonna tour my place of business. I'm on the hook for that. So the 24th and we'll send out, there's a conflict on the 24th, but we'll send out a doodle poll and figure out what we can put together.
And when we determine the doodle, let us know.
Okay.
ASAP.
I'll send that
Please.
tomorrow and send a text out.
Thank you.
Okay. So we'll get into considering a resolution for adopting and approving the execution of a municipal aid co-op program. John, you want to take this one over?
Actually, Glenda's probably got better.
Glenda, you gonna do this?
I mean, I can do it, but she probably got more insight on it.
This is the resolution we adopt every year. Same thing. Okay, so it's just for us to receive that municipal road aid money. This next year, they are projecting us to receive $58,771.40.
You got it.
So,
We've got two new members. You know what the municipal
Oh.
road aid is?
sorry.
It's funds that we get that's divvied up from the fuel tax. We get that every year. Most incorporated areas do get that, and it's utilized for your, you can use it for paving, and that's what it's for.
What was that
Yeah.
number again?
It's restricted money.
What was that number again?
$58,771.40.
58,771.
Mhm.
So the road aid money is one of the reasons whenever we do something with the county on a road, it's got to be an agreement, separate agreement, so we don't double dip. So our roads are counted separate from the counties totally. Okay. Is there any other discussion on this resolution? Now, we had a couple of times, we said that we are participating now
Mhm.
in the
Emergency fund.
emergency fund. We had ceased participation for 1 year. And then we considered and got back into that. And that's where we defer a portion. What
I
percent?
think it's 3%.
We defer 3%. Now that 58 number you threw out was after the 3% had been deferred.
I'm not sure. Department shall distribute up to including an additional 30%. See. They withhold that 3% when they send
Okay,
it to us.
so that is withheld then. Okay, so what that allows us is another source of potential funding should we have some big calamity befall us. And we had at one budget, we had said we were not going to participate. And then we turned it back on the next year after we learned more about the program.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Mother Nature changed our mind too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So if you have
She said,
some,
oh,
you
you
can
really need to think about
apply
that.
for that.
You can
They
apply.
might or might not give you
Right.
what you.
There's certain requirements, and I think it's what's the nature of where they grant that money?
Basically natural disasters, stuff like that, or you have disaster with like a bridge, or you have a road that washes out. Or something other than flooding, or something of that nature, you can actually apply for funding. If it's a major thing, if you don't have the money in your, to deal with it, you can actually apply for specific funds to take care of those things.
Have we ever used it?
We
How long has
don't.
that been around?
They're around for longer than I have.
As long as-
I'm not
yeah.
sure when they actually started. Goes
We've
way
been-
back.
As a city, we've been accumulating that money that we get annually, and it shows up there on your cash status or whatever that's called.
Yeah.
Um,
Cash balances.
Cash balances. And so
Right now, we have 470,000 in that fund.
We'll
We
say
used
that
it, the
it's
last time
progress.
we used it was for Fifth Avenue rehab.
We're looking
So
at,
we save it up and then use it for a big project.
yeah,
You're talking about the road aid money?
The road ain't money. You were asking about the emergency program?
about the emergency.
Yeah,
program.
yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
we
Dustin
never-
was asking about,
That goes
two
to the
different
state.
things.
Never done that.
Well, right.
You apply to the state for those funds.
so,
Is our money.
And
The
we've
other
never
one
used
is
it,
a
no.
Pool that we could get.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. I just
Approved.
didn't-
Sorry,
we never
Dustin.
used it. That's okay. I wasn't-
so we had that conversation. I don't remember what year it was, a few years back, and we actually elected to get out of it, go ahead and put the 3% in ours. And we researched it further. I think at the time we were talking about the bridge over Little Cypress on Gearsville Highway and that sort of thing. And we wouldn't have been able, we didn't get any, we didn't apply, but things can happen to you. And so we decided to jump back in. The council decided to jump back in. So we can talk about that during budget workshop. I think. Or is that decision to be in or out now or in budget workshop
On what we're gonna spend.
on the emergency participation in the,
Well, if we do the resolution, that's what we're doing.
we're going to be in.
Be in it.
Okay, that decision's
Yes.
made now.
So we
Okay.
just need to say we're in favor of it, or we need a motion.
No, I have to have a
I
motion
make a
because
motion that.
I
we
have to
approve-
list all of your names.
Okay, I make a motion that we approve this resolution.
We have a second.
Second.
All right. Got a motion and a second. And you're going to call
No, I can just.
all in favor?
All in favor?
Aye. Opposed?
Okay.
You got everybody's
That's
name.
usually enough.
I have their names.
We have your names. Okay.
Now somebody's got her pick.
We got pictures to go with it now.
But let me go back. I think the 3% does come out of that 50 out, 8,000.
Do we need to revote?
Yep.
58 less 3%.
Yes,
Okay.
correct. Thank you. I was looking at the contract.
So. I'm going to sign said contract and set it forth on behalf of the legislative body. Thank you for the resolution. All right, so we're going to shift into departmental reports.
Can I, new business?
Yes,
I've mentioned this in a phone call with Gene the other day. When we first started work on the detention pond, we all sort of weren't sure it was going to work. And Lynn was the creator of the thought pattern here, as far as we know. He's the one that brought it to us and everything. And whenever we, I don't know if we would do it or consider it, but whenever the Parks Board, when they get finished with their plan of what they want to do, I think we ought to name that the Lynn Jones Detention Pond and have a little sign there, because if it wasn't for that, we would have had a lot of flooding, and he had a lot of foresight in that. So I just wanted to bring that up.
well, you did mention that to me.
I did.
And I have to concur. And, you know, I'll admit when I'm wrong. I was probably one of the less enthusiastic city council members on that idea, and I had a reason why I was, and we had some conversations. For what we're doing, I would have loved for the acreage to be higher, and I was wrong on that. That detention basin has really made an impact, a positive impact, and saved portions of our community. This is at least the fourth time. And it's been pretty trouble free, other than trying to get something grass to look at, like other than just kind of a scab out there. Other than its general appearance and how hard it is to affect it, it's been really good. I mean, we would have had flooding probably. I don't know that, but down in Alaska and Alabama on second, we would have had probably flooding there. And so, like I said, it was striking contrast this time. Little Cypress got hammered up in the headwaters. Mike Miller Park, everything drains this way and has to make the corner, you know, through Love's Truck Stop and make the corner at Calvert City and head 8 miles down the river. So it was a big contrast. We would have almost certainly had flash flooding, and I think it's a great idea to put that there, and we'll look into that. And then plans for that area, we're going to get started on that in this budget. We got some ideas, and we're going to throw them out there. So it'd be a great place for an Eagle projects and stuff. Just saying that out loud, you know, beautification, whatever. Be a great place. Okay. Any other new business? All right. Now we'll transition to department reports. Bobby, I'm gonna put you on the spot first, man. I know you've had a hard few weeks trying to deal with flooding, having people build berms for you on your behalf, and so come in here and we got lots of water.
Had lots of water.
So I know you had a busy period of time. And got has some pumping some sewer pumping stations that decided to lay down on him in the middle of this.
Yeah.
basically, yeah, during that storm, basic things we were battling were, constantly monitoring pumps, making sure lift stations were operating. Unfortunately, one got shot and we've had to put a temporary pump on it. And it's gonna probably be another week and a half, 2 weeks before we can get it actually functioning like it's supposed to. But I mean, we were 24/7 when it was all going on. I mean, we were just, I mean, I had crews and different time, time slots coming in, and we were just constantly monitoring the water level. We were checking pumps, making sure everything was flowing. And we were pretty overwhelmed with it. It was a lot of water. I was praying for it to end. But I mean, it wasn't nothing for us to work. I mean, I know I worked like 17 hours straight and came back in 4 hours later and worked another one. And it was a mess. But we made it, and we're hopefully on a downhill slide for now. But as other like projects and stuff for our department, I mean, nothing's really changed yet. I mean, we still have our projects are in the same kind of situation where apparently, weather has put things to a certain halt, and they're doing all they can. But I mean, other than that,
Good job.
hope it's about over.
So we've got a pile of dense grade at the water plant. But when you run a city, you need dense grade. So we've got some homes and future homes for it and future berms for it. So it's
The third time we built this berm, thank God, this is the first time we haven't had to have it.
I know it.
After all was said and done, it
I
didn't.
know it well.
So we actually,
Better to
that
have
turned
it
out
not need
nice.
it than to need it not have it.
Right.
Exactly right.
Thank y'all for all your
Thank you.
hard work.
Thank you.
with that, I'll shift over to Brad. He's been working hard on budget things too, on top of that. Brad's a wizard at the helm of a bulldozer, and
Mechanical.
I don't know what that machine was, but it looked like it was made to do that job.
It's all just back.
Or two, but we got it done. Yeah, with our first forecast of the river, of course, it was gonna get up in there. Or, cause it was like, what, 50 and a half, I think.
50 and a half, Ohio,
So then, about the time we got it finished, they dropped it back down to 47, so that set us in the clear, but it's still, it's a lot better. I've built it, that's the third time I've built this now.
Yeah.
The last two was in water. The water coming up so fast that we were actually had to drive stakes down the side of the roadway so the trucks could see the roadway to get there. And
Still have pictures of that.
joy, it was a joyful time. Like you said. It's a long couple of days, but yeah, that worked out good. And we really were lucky on our roadways. We had very minimal damage, just a little bit of washing on the shoulders, and a spot or two, but really we were very fortunate. I mean, I know Tatumsville, I had 16.5 inches of rain, so that's crazy. I mean, that's just crazy, we just found that. But
Juniper Street, is that around the sewer? It's washed out there
what's that?
on Juniper Street.
Juniper? That's
an old thing that's crept back up
what I
again.
call the Bermuda Triangle.
We couldn't find it last time.
We can't find leaks or anything. Only thing I can come up with is when the contractors put it in years ago, they didn't compact it good. And it just kind of settles out over time.
It's really settled.
We dug that out today, nothing. It settled down about this far. And I done that on Hawthorne a few years ago. We just kept dumping coal patch in there, and I went in, I was bound determined we're gonna find something. I dug it all the way about 15 foot deep to the main. Never found a leak, no. So,
We've opened up Juniper once before
yeah,
and didn't find anything then.
I'd actually
That
done
was-
from Laurel up to Linden on that section. And then this is the section between Laurel and the, so we dug it out, put it back today, and we're gonna let it settle for a while and make sure nothing's gonna come up again, but
there a place there somewhere around Colorado, 16th Avenue, Darlene Latta was talking about someplace there.
16th in Colorado.
I don't know if it was Colorado or not. It was what Ralph would know.
Yeah, there's no 16th, but you did something on Colorado, some culverts.
Like at Riley, there's, y'all were cutting.
She said it was like wrapped up, I mean, taped off, what do you call the hazard tape and stuff. Caution tape,
Y'all-
thank you.
Y'all clean the dishes at
Yeah,
Riley
we
and
cleaned the ditches
Colorado.
on
I
Riley.
was just curious, but she had mentioned it.
Drainage issues in there, but
We've got a couple spots that may be doing the same thing, and
Okay.
again, you understand the water that came across the top, but water's traveling underground
Underneath,
as
yeah.
well, and so it creates those same issues that washes. And so some we'll have to probably go back and look at, so we got a couple others, smaller ones to look at, so.
Well, I think you do
We
great.
did finally complete the bathroom.
I've heard great things.
And that's good. Now we're just waiting, your multi-use trail, I think about all we like now is,
Fencing.
the fencing along the new trail, and they're just waiting for it to stay dry long enough for them to get in and do it. Same thing, pickleball, the new pickleball court. Waiting on weather. You know, if they can get a couple of good dry weeks, then I'm sure they'll jump in and get knocked out, but
And just so everybody knows, we have ordered shades and bleachers for both. So we'll take care of that before we have to hear it. I mean, before it gets.
Oh, wow. Well,
all right. About all I have, I think. Parks are going wild, soccer, baseball, all that's getting fired up good, so very busy.
do we have an anticipated duration on building those courts
As far as,
when we get started, anticipated finish? Do we know a timeline?
I have no clue.
Okay.
I think, what is it in the contract, like 60 days or 90 days or something?
60 or 90, I can't remember. Let's go back and look at the contract. That's generally what it normally runs like that.
But, yeah, everything's going pretty good. Bob's still working on the fountain.
We're still waiting for them to get free of the construction out here by the interstate. Once they
Yeah, right.
they get past a certain point there, then maybe they'll start working over here again.
Yeah, we replumbed all the fountain inside the building and we're trying to get all the controls, the electronic controls all set where it'll dance again. So the problem is the company we bought it from is bought out, so now we're going down that path. And
They have responded though, because I got an email today to pass on, so.
so hopefully we can get.
In the name of time flies, how long's the fountain? You know, when we put it in, you know what year?
I can't remember what it was.
You remember? Shouldn't ask those questions I don't know the answer to. I don't remember
The
either.
last 15 years, but
That's, yeah.
that's all I can tell you. I know Katie and I were together at the time, so I know it's been at least within 15 years, so.
Big, only 20.
Yep,
Less than 20.
2005.
I'm gonna say.
I'm thinking 9 to 10. That was,
No, it was later than that. Cause
don't know.
I was dating Katie at the time before we got married. So
Oh,
it
we
had
see how
been,
you mark
Y'all
off
were
time.
married.
well, it'd been 12.
y'all were married when we got finished.
Then it would have been 10 years ago then.
Yeah.
10 years.
17 was the
Hey, man,
No, there you go. There you go. We've been the Blair Google, the inside Google.
Did she Google it?
Dude, no, she
Cheater.
looked through her photo albums. She looked through her photos. I know what she did. She found a pic. She found a pic. Other, thanks.
Thanks, Brad.
14 or 15? Huh?
17. 17.
Well, 17. Good Lord. It's not that
17.
long as I thought.
Right.
I thought it was longer than that.
So the thought that the company's out of business, I mean, but it happens. Get parts.
I got bought out.
Okay, so I don't have fire department to pick on, so I guess we'll go with Captain Babcock. You got a report or anything? Hey, your department has a good show coming out tonight. Really supporting Keith. Appreciate that.
We have been working on body cameras and software for 6 to 8 months now. And as of Friday, they started working and we have all new body cams software pretty impressive. We've had some issues with afternoon school buses. People passing them, kids almost getting hit. So if you see police cars following school buses for the next couple of weeks in the afternoon, that's what we're doing. There was a incident up by Lakeland Event Center where a mom and a daughter were maybe a foot or two away from getting killed or injured. So that woman's been charged. And that's what we're at right now. We'll be following school buses. And as far as call volume, it's steady. Nothing major right now.
Well, thank you for the body camera work. Wes came in, I think, on a day off, normally scheduled day off, to make that happen when it hit.
They said it would be 2 hours. But it was 5 or 6.
It was a fire call. Sorry about that.
That's it. You guys got any questions?
Sure. Thank you.
So there's more than one way to get Chief Davis down to the city hall, I guess. Maybe. Okay. We any more? Blair, last but certainly not least, and the airport. Y'all want to do rock, paper, scissors or something?
I think Blair's going first.
Okay,
I'm gonna stay right where I am.
I got it.
He listens well. So we had the pink moon on Saturday night. It was really great. We had 77 paddlers come out, lots of help. Appreciate your all's help. It was actually a pink moon. Some folks were shocked about that.
Some folks came a day early.
Some folks came a day early and we're not sure where they were at, but it's okay. We all ended up there and it was great. I sent an email out to you all about the Tennessee Riverline survey. The Tennessee Riverline sent out a list of communities and how many people have completed the survey, and Calvert had a 3. Granted, higher than most all of the other communities, but I would like that to be more like a 10. So if you guys check your email and just go on and fill out that survey. There are 2 surveys. One is for leadership, the other one is for the community. So if you could just take less than 5 minutes to fill out, really simple, easy.
Pretty quick.
You can do it on your phone. One of them is for leadership, the other one is community, and it's about how we want to learn about the Tennessee River. So you can kind of just go on there and fill it out. It won't take long. Appreciate you doing
Well, the 2 separate surveys or 2 phases?
2 separate surveys.
Okay.
I think I
Yes.
did one.
Yeah, one is for the leadership, the other one is for the community.
Okay.
And it's more about how do you want to receive information? Do you want to get it through a podcast or video, or how do you want to
River
learn about
cruise.
it?
I wanted
Yeah.
Are they both for us?
Yeah.
Oh, so I was, okay.
That's why
I failed one of them. I know I failed one.
You failed?
Did fail, but one was hard.
I think I failed that. I was like.
I did, I failed.
So the other things that we have, also the deadline for that survey is April 21st, so it's coming up. The Earth Day party is April 22nd. It is on a Tuesday at the Sustainability Garden in Kentucky Dam Village. It's from 9 until 4 p.m. We'll have 2 saplings to give away. One is a northern red oak. The other one is a pecan tree. So you can come get a free tree. There'll be some arts and crafts, some live music. We're, working with the elementary school. They're going to have 2 buses come in and third graders to spend the day learning about recycling and how to clean up our earth a little bit. So it should be a good day. Kites Over Calvert is on May the 3rd from 1 to 3 p.m. right back here in the backfield. And applications are open for amelioration vendors. We have 30 signed up so far, which is a good number, more than we have had before. June 8th is Kids Art in the Park, and we're going to do that same kids business fair, so kids can sell their products. We have 18 signed up, but if you know of anyone, share that information with them so that they can get signed up for that. It's not just kids businesses. It's also musicians too. So if they write poetry, if they are a comedian, if they are ventriloquists, whatever it is, have them sign up for it.
This is the second one,
This will be the second one.
and the
yeah.
first one went over
First one was
fabulous.
great, yeah. We had 30 kids participate, and it was awesome. The Easter egg hunt, so I bought these ginormous golden eggs to hide in the park, sent it out. And I don't know if you know Michael Brillo Stegman. He called me and he has made 75 wooden golden eggs. And he has numbered them 1 through 75. And he's gonna hide them in the park on Friday night. So it's first come, first served. He does ask that everybody just takes one. So just don't go out and we're not trying to hunt all the eggs. So he wants me to make a post about it. And you can go on and, I mean, they're some are big, some are small, they're checkered patterned. I mean, he has really put a lot of time into it. It's awesome. Melts my heart. So anyway, he's gonna hide them on Friday night. So Saturday morning, if you have kids, bring them to the park. We will have the golden eggs. There'll be 4 big plastic golden eggs. There's a clear difference between the two. Do not take the golden eggs, but take the other golden eggs.
Yeah,
This is gonna go over great.
Take the wood, not the plastic.
It's
Which-
gonna go over real well, I just know. but
Which park?
Huh?
Which park?
Everywhere,
Everywhere, all park,
all parts.
all park,
Yeah.
all skate, all park.
So
Aren't they
anyway,
having
Saturday morning,
The whole park, aren't they having an Easter egg hunt down there
I think so. Yeah, there is.
between lakes?
Yeah.
Most of the time?
Yeah, they are, yeah. So I think this part, Maine, Doctor's Park, Memorial Park, keep a lookout for them. It should be fun, but I'm gonna make a post about it. And if you find an egg, we want to encourage everybody to put their number on it so that we know, because on the bottom of it, it has 1 through 75. Just put whatever number you found so we can kind of see who got them. If you find all 4 of the golden eggs that are hidden and post it on social media, then the first one to do it that gets the 4 photos, turns them in, will win a very large chocolate bunny.
And this is
So-
kids. We're
Yes.
hoping, okay,
We're all
I mean,
kids.
adults can do it.
okay.
I've got 2. One for adults, one for kids. Why
I
not?
was gonna go out and hunt like. For all the kids.
Hey,
Only time of night cause early in the morning, I'm not up.
you know
After
somebody,
midnight, I'm-
you know somebody will though.
After midnight, I'm usually
Anyway,
pretty good
that's
for-
all.
Well, we'll see.
A spotlight on it at 2 AM.
Egg hunting by car lots.
My kids are too.
Anything else?
Thank you.
Thanks. Thanks, Blair.
So Brillo makes these out of wood,
What's that?
that's eggs out of wood,
She got pictures.
and my wife would decide herself, she'll chase them down. Cool.
I know, that's just pass around. We've got a lot of time, but here we go.
I haven't
Cool.
spoken yet, so we're all right.
Is there
They are
a
cool.
time on Saturday?
He's gonna hide him Friday night, so technically.
Okay,
So
Get
see
right
you
on.
guys.
all right.
See you out there, 6 a.m.
To give Blair a shout out for the kayak event. I mean, there was people like, they were expecting to have to pay something because it was so neat and, you know, they wanted like the t-shirts. It was just really, really neat and there was. a huge-
He deserves one.
You missed your opportunity to make some money.
Yeah.
She deserves one.
If it hadn't been after dark, Scott could.
So, the idea for the Pink Moon paddle,
Oh, that was not me.
it was not
It
you?
was not.
Okay.
Indian Village, Kim, she's the activities director. She wanted to do it and.
So
It
you,
was awesome.
yeah.
I was like,
How
it sounds
often do
like
we get a pink moon?
Sound like the.
How often do we get a pink moon?
Once a year.
Yeah.
It's like, the Native Americans called it the sign of spring.
And it's called the Pascal moon too.
The Pascal Moon. Pascal?
Pascal.
Okay.
It's the first moon of spring.
Spring has sprung.
And
Okay.
Google helps.
Google helps. All right. So, you want to lead us off on? Yeah, sure. Game game.
Tim.
Oh, I'm forgetting Tim. Tim, airport.
We could have skipped him.
Come on, Tim, make it snappy, Pappy. 20 acronyms later,
Yeah,
we're,
we got our acronyms in for the night, so we gotta get them.
Well, you're in trouble because I've got 3 pages here, but,
okay, okay, I'm glad I called on you last then.
um,
To get some coffee made? Okay, good, never mind,
We're-
sorry. We're ready.
we're still on schedule for ALP review in June, July.
Airport layout plan.
That's,
What layout plan, yeah.
oh, did I say ALP?
No, we got it. Airport layout plan. We're
Okay.
good.
That's correct. Item number 2, the crickets are still singing about the Pappy project, and you all know what Pappy is, so I'm gonna
Pappy's got lots.
leave it at that. We're not really, we'd really like to have the precision instrument approach system and the runway end identification lights installed soon. The state's not in as much of a hurry as we are, simply because they're not doing, they'll have to pay us money to do it. But it's not yet interfering with the grant process, so they're not late with the grants and they're not early with the grants, so we expect movement on that in the next couple of months. We are in the process working with John and the state on putting the numbers together for the cost of the next T-hanger project. We want to grab as much of the state money as possible, so we're working closely with them. We do know that they still have the policy of doing the infrastructure. And that's about 20% of the total cost of the project. In this particular case, it may be more because we don't know yet what the floodplain issues will be. But we have revised the capital improvement plan to switch the box hanger with the T-hanger. And do the T-hanger first because that's where the most demand is. And we're just waiting until we get a good number packaged together and some confirmation from the state as to what their participation will be. It's a 1.4, probably 1.2 to 1.4 million dollar project. And we're trying to get 90 to 95% cost taken care of by grants. So the last item is that if you don't mind, I'm gonna take leave next month. I'll be out of, not out of the country, but out of the state,
Okay.
out west for the month of May, so, I hope you get along just fine without me.
We'll miss you.
We'll go over the glossary of acronyms for the FAA side. And it'll be almost like you were here. Nearly.
Maybe I'll forward it to you.
But
acronym
the
section.
the T-hangers, if we can seize the grant opportunity, that changes the geometry pretty big on profitability and sustainability airport. You know, the T-hanger rent, instead of paying off the note, you know, the first one we did, we have a municipal bond on it. In the bond fund with KLC, if we can get the grant on this one, that helps us a lot. Okay, as far as, you know, generating income. So good news.
Good news
All
so
right.
far. Thank you.
Okay.
I think that was a TAM. TAM. Tim's May Adventure, or Tim's Adventure in May.
Tim's absence in May.
Or Adventure in May.
Okay.
Yeah.
TAM. All right. Have I forgotten anyone else? We got it all covered. All right. So Danae.
Well, I just want to thank Bobby individually. He was very busy, but came to my house to make sure there was not a major leak, but it came down to, it's all Kevin Stokes's fault. It was the water from his house.
Was it?
It was groundwater from his house. But it was all good. He checked it all out and that just made me feel better.
Good.
And then also I want to give a shout out to the Pathway youth that came to help fill sandbags.
I heard good things.
They were amazing. Honestly, when I saw kids and youth coming, I thought, oh, they're gonna be in the way. Those kids worked so hard. They were amazing. They really were.
Need some energizers.
Yes.
Okay. So it's a 4-hour sandbag expedition, pretty
Yes.
much, right? Yeah.
It was amazing how many they got done in 4 hours. It was really something.
So, John had looked back at the quota we had deployed last time and figured out what that number was, and between what was generated in 4 hours and what they were able to get from, Marsh County hit it. So,
See that I was pleased also with Marshall County's, being able to, the mayor or the judge set up a great system over there, and I mean, whatever we needed, he was pumping it out to us. So
yeah,
we've got them. It's a distribution point here.
and had a meeting with volunteers from the churches. What day was that? That was Monday afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
And got some great response there. And so.
With the money, well, anyways,
Did
it was
we
right in there. We had good turnout.
Yeah.
And when they came back in again. I think we had 6 churches represented.
Yeah.
And again, there's something that always amazes me is this community's ability to come together in a disaster. I've never seen anything like it. It's wonderful. And
So
it makes you proud to be a resident here. It really does. This community comes together quick in a disaster.
So making provisions for putting sandbags out. So that's good. Nita, you got anything?
I do.
Okay.
I knew I would have.
Well, that's
I think that we need to come up with a little bit of a plan when there is something like this. Like there were tornadoes before the rain started.
Mhm.
Benton, Lyon County.
Thursday night was a rough night.
Benton, Livingston County, and Lyon County all had a list of facilities that would be open for people, and we had nothing. And I think it would be, and I noticed that Rita asked the schools, the Benton school was open. And so I wondered next time, Jean, if you might contact the schools or businesses around, and then we give Blair or give somebody a list so that we'd have a list, because people, they do look to us. And I still think that there's a good possibility that we could open up part of this in the basement
Right.
for a shelter. And I know there's windows back there in the corner, but there could be some way to, partition those off or something. And I know of some people who they were afraid to stay in their house. They were not from Calvert City, but they were afraid to stay in their house because they didn't have a basement. And one of the ladies worked at the school. She called Kendra Glenn, and Kendra allowed the school to be open for them, and they stayed there. And I just think, we just need to do, I'm not complaining about it. Yeah, I am. But we need, I would be glad to help. We just need to come up with some kind of an organized plan that we can get information out there for our citizens. And then that goes into the generator.
Was it Benton Elementary?
Mm-hmm.
And South Elementary.
Do we know is there anything different about that school that would allow them to do that we wouldn't be able to do?
Well, I'll tell you what, I hear what you're saying, and I felt the same thing. And there's a lot of legal reasons, and we'll pre-plan it and just see what the answers are. Because I don't understand how that, for what I have been told as mayor, what I have been told that I can do, I don't understand how that was done. I don't understand how the city says, if your house isn't good enough, come over here and shelter with us. And I've been told pretty expressly, until you have the ratings on that's a lot of liability. And so I will talk to Rita and see what she was talked to, and it takes pre-planning. I didn't even know the schools would be able to approve that. There is a facilities manager for the school that we know, and I did not know. It's news to me, and I haven't learned how. I've been busy on some water stuff, but that's on my to-do list, because you're absolutely
And
right.
I don't know.
If it's possible, we do that, by golly, we should do that.
Well, I know there was one time, and I understand about liability, but there was one time several years ago when there were storm warnings and they wouldn't let people in when they came to the police department. So to that end, and I'm not saying it was the police department. Blair, do you remember?
Yeah.
That there was a tornado and it looked bad and they would not let them in. And I know that there's liability, but there's also compassion in human nature, that if you have room to let somebody in there, I would think there would be some liability for you not letting them in.
I think that was
'Cause-
just a confusion, and that was correct. We
Okay.
Figured that out. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
then I stand corrected on that one. But again, we.
Yeah.
Cause it is scary for people, and it goes back to, again, the generator, that maybe we could have the committee to come meet with the council.
Okay.
And see what the holdup is on that, cause I know that 2 of the entities are still interested in it, and I am surprised that they are. But
Right. Well, the thing is that just opening up facilities, you've got to have someone there
They,
to be committed to coming up and being there. And I want to learn more about that. And quite frankly, I mean, I was not happy that we weren't able to do something commensurate to that. And we may have to put some money where our mouth is to make that possible. But I will tell you, if you say I've got a tornado shelter for you and you give up your structure and you come to a place that's offered you tornado shelter, they better be ready to offer you good tornadoes. And we saw what happened over in Mayfield. And I'm sure that some of the buildings that disappeared would have been able to get tornado rating. And when you get one of those big monsters, there's nothing's going to save you. And so you're never going to be perfect. My point is that saying that this thing's totally bomb proof and you're going to be 100% it's like impossible to do.
I don't think anybody's saying.
No, I'm saying that I'm being told that as a reason that we don't do that. I'm telling you that Mother Nature, God can throw things at you. Nothing's going to be prepared for, and it's going to be a better circumstance than you are.
Right.
So I agree with you wholeheartedly. Okay. And we'll have to
the thing
pre-plan.
about it is, and nobody means it this way, and I'm not trying to be ugly about it, but we have drug along on this generator when we've had the money allocated. Yet we will allow people to go to those two churches for shelter, or we will maybe sometimes call them for shelter.
Mhm.
And to me, we're not doing our part. We're not.
I understand. All right. Ralph? Yeah. Jeremy? Dustin?
Yes.
What do you
A
got?
few things about bicycles.
Okay. Good news.
Waiting on my turn.
Well, I served one up to you last time and you like, but
I wasn't
no,
ready
and now
yet.
you're ready to
I
go.
wasn't ready yet.
You're ready to go.
So
All
we've got several things going on in the city. Louis, can you hear me okay?
I'm hearing you.
Okay, good.
These new bikes are spiffy.
Yeah. So several opportunities, unique opportunities for elementary age kids in the city, and they're related to bikes, and it ties in perfectly with Calvert being a bike friendly community. And we've got, first of all, bike bus, which we'll ride tomorrow, and the kids love that. We've got some new ones going to ride tomorrow, and we'll have a good group, and that's a hit. If you haven't ever been, and Blair's been, and Jean's rode with us, but if you've never been on that and seen these kids in the morning, how excited they get. I mean, it's such a good program. And the second thing is we've got a junior mountain bike club now that practices right here at Dr. Park, right here behind us on the Moneymaker Trail. And it's for elementary kids, and it ties right into the middle school and high school mountain bike teams, which are and why I know this is important, because I've been involved with those teams some, and I've seen the influence that can have that team involvement for some of these kids. And they have a rich history, several state championships, one of two schools in the state that has an actual school team. Most areas have a composite team made of kids from different schools, and Marshall County and McCracken County now has a school team, and they do very, very well. I think they have about 30 kids, right? And these are kids that, it's kids that aren't gonna maybe make the starting basketball team, or kids that otherwise wouldn't have anything like this to do. And so it gets them out of the house, gives them something. Kids need something to do, or they'll find something to do, and it may not be what they need to be doing. So, it gives them a purpose, good mentors, the coaches are outstanding, and, it's just a great opportunity. So to have an elementary club that's learning that and getting that involvement, they've got about 20 kids coming down here to practice. And,
you can't miss it.
Yeah, it's
The
just
parking lot's full.
But yeah, you just got to see them. I mean, these kids are fired up. When a kid gets on a bike, they just start smiling, and so I go down there any chance I get and just watch and ride with them, because it's a joy. So we've got that's JT Barnes and Christine Williams leading that, and they do a great job. So that's great that the trail is getting utilized here, that Steve Moneymaker built and Deshay, and so we're proud for that. So at the elementary school, we came into several years back, before I was on the SBDM, they came into some funds and used a portion of it for some bike racks and cones. And it was to be used for bike safety and promotion. and awareness. And so the money was sitting there and needed to be spent. And so when I got on the SPDM, Miss Glenn knew I was into the biking stuff, and she came to me with an idea and said, here's what we want to do. We want to buy enough bicycles to keep at the school for an entire class, 25, 26 kids, to be able to ride mountain bikes during PE and on the mountain bike trail that's adjacent to the school property, the Moneymaker Trail. And so I'm sitting, as soon as she told me that, I just smiled and I thought of about 10 obstacles that's never going to happen. That's going to be hard to do. And so I said, hey, let's do it. I'm all on board with that. So, we had to figure out a way to make that work. The school did. And they worked with Jackie Go at Wooden Wave and Renee. And I said, we told them, here's what we've got. We only have this much money. We need this many bikes. We need good bikes that are going to last. We need helmets. And he said, give me a week. And he came back to me and he said, hey, I've got this company, loves what you're doing. They build great bikes. They're going to make it happen, And so huge discount. Jackie sold the school the bikes at his cost, built them all, 26 bikes. Didn't charge a dime for it, on the helmet. So we got 26 bikes delivered to the school about a month and a half ago, and just the kids. So we've had a couple of sessions now. Jason Roberts, that is the mountain bike coach, came and spent a week with the 4th and 5th grade kids, teaching them biking safety and how to ride on the trail and how to ride a bike and this and that. And I mean, the kids loved it. It's just outstanding. And, they're asking, how can I get on a team? How can I ride more? And so it's just, you get something like this going, and you have a principal, Miss Glenn, was on board with this 100% and just really thinking outside the box, a unique opportunity, because no school does this. This is very unique to Calvert, to have bikes that kids can ride during school. And so you've got kids asking about, how can I get a bike? And it just branches out in different ways. And so it's a really, really cool program. But the school's been great about it. Just everybody pitching in. Steve Moneymaker told him, I said, we're going to need a short trail for the kids to ride, the elementary kids. He said, when you need it, how long does it need to be? And he was all over it. And so and I think next week they're going to start actually getting to get on the trail during PE and ride there.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, it's really, really unique. And I don't know of any school that's ever done this. And to have a mountain bike trail right adjacent to the school property makes it very unique opportunity. But, I hope that maybe other schools down the road can see something like this and can try to, but you've got to have people willing to do it. You've got to have all the right people in place to make something like that happen. And our community just has people anywhere you look. You say, I need this, you're going to have somebody step up, especially when it's for these kids. So that's getting going now. So I just wanted to kind of update y'all on all that. A lot of you probably already know, but let you know what's going on. Blair's she's helped a lot with a lot of that too. Fixing stuff with anything we need. So that's all I've got. And I've actually got some pictures that I'm gonna pass around for y'all to have. You can just take a clip, but it's got some pictures of some of the here you go that way.
Some of those kids not ever been on a bike before?
Some of them have not. So we've had to kind of teach them how to ride, and some of them have ride. I've had kids that they've said, I know how to ride, but I don't have a bike. I outgrew my bike, and I don't have a bike. So here you go. And they had a big time.
So I'm seeing more mountain bikes in my journeys around town. More mountain bikes. Got kids riding mountain bikes on the multi-use trails, like little guys. And I think you got some trickle down too. So that's great news, Dustin.
And to
That's
see the
exciting.
bike bus group as I'm going to work on Tuesday.
You just
it
keep
makes
a
my
stack
day.
of them.
Okay.
Everybody should have it, and then
Yeah.
y'all have one. Is there
Yeah, we
two
got
left?
some left,
There's a couple
yeah.
Just pass them back around, Glenda and Jean.
All right. Kevin, you got anything?
I'll let Justin have my time.
Okay.
Took it too.
He took it. All right.
Okay.
Those pictures are
Just now on.
those pictures you can keep, and then years down the road, keep it in your file and pull that out and say, hey, this is when this started. Because who knows where it will be 5,
All right.
10 years from now.
Very good. Exciting. All right. Bits right in. Dude,
Jeremy?
I think I got Jeremy earlier. I was doing
Okay.
zigzag. All right, so Jeremy, you're
Just a
good.
little bit
Okay,
less
so
than where we were.
So now we've got, we had a special call meeting last, when was it?
First.
The first, April Fool's Day. Don't like the date, but that's when we had it. And we're going to go to executive meeting now. If I can get a motion in a second to discuss something. You want to do the reading on what allows us to go to executive session?
Sure. So before entertaining a motion to go into executive session, we're just supposed to give notice of the general nature of what we'll be discussing, which is a potential business interested in a Calvert City location. And the reason for the executive session is that the open discussion could jeopardize the location of the business or the business's decision to locate here. And so we also have to notice the specific provision that we're operating under to go into executive session, and that is KRS 61.810 subsection 1G. And so having made that announcement in open session, you can entertain a motion to enter into executive session.
Okay.
Make a motion that we.
I'll
Got a
second.
motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. All right, so we're going to suspend the normal council meeting and go into executive session. I do not anticipate that we're going to have any action when we come out, but if we do, I'll give you guys a call. Okay. Right. Okay. Yes, ma'am. I do. Thanks, Dan. Dan's been doing budget work. He's an unsung hero here. Yeah, we got a utility board meeting tomorrow or day after tomorrow. Thursday, that's right. Day after tomorrow. Sometimes they'll follow utility board same week as council meeting and they're like, how'd that happen?